my friends, and welcome back to Living Inspired with Autism, the podcast for parents who want to create a full, meaningful, and inspiring life alongside the realities of raising an autistic child. I'm your host, Antoinette. I'm a life coach. I'm also mother to my own wonderful autistic son, Max, and someone who understands that life does not always follow the neat timetable we have in mind. That's why today we are going to be talking about planning. But more specifically, we are talking about what happens when the plan does not go according to plan. Because as parents of autistic children, we all know planning is incredibly important. And it would be so nice for us to plan our ordinary lives, the school schedules, meals, transport, the family commitments, work, rest, medication, paperwork, holidays, and then the daily tasks that keep life moving. And if we do, sometimes our calendars resemble the control panel of a small aircraft. Planning helps us to create order. It helps us use our time deliberately. It helps us make progress towards the life that we want. But planning can also become a source of enormous frustration when we hold onto it too tightly, when we believe the day must unfold exactly as we imagined it. Any disruption can feel like the whole plan has just failed. And of course, as we know, disruptions will happen. They happen in every family, of course, but when you are parenting an autistic child, they happen more frequently and with less warning. So maybe your kiddo doesn't sleep, or they have a mini meltdown because the internet is slow, which is what happened to my son. The bus was late, or maybe it didn't arrive. You may receive a phone call from your boss because they need this urgent report for the meeting that they have in an hour. Or just a change that may require your full attention. And suddenly your beautiful plan that you created for your day has vanished in the mist. Now, what I want to offer you today is this. The plan is important, but the plan is not the point. The point is the result that you're trying to create. The point is the life that you're trying to build. The plan is simply one possible route to get there. And when I was doing this podcast, when I thought about that sentence, I was just like, oh, I need to remind myself of this all the time. So I'm going to say it again. The plan is just one possible route to get to the result. So I recently mentioned, if you have not heard, that we have moved into a new house. And we've moved into a new location, which is closer to Max's school, and the house has a pool and a hot tub. And Max is super excited about it because he absolutely loves water. But the house is older and we haven't lived in a house as old as this one before. And anyone who's ever moved into an older home knows that the house begins to reveal its secrets very quickly. So there's quite a bit of maintenance and fixing and things to be done. Now, we're talking about planning. Now, my husband and I, Mark, have very different planning styles. So Mark likes to do things immediately. Once he notices something needs to be done, he wants to handle it now. Not tomorrow, not next week, preferably before lunch. And this can be a very useful quality. Things get done, there's momentum, there's less opportunity for procrastination, and it is also occasionally slightly annoying. And I say that with a lot of love. I love my husband. Sometimes I feel that we are moving before we have fully considered the bigger picture. So let me give you an example. Mark needed a few extra plugs installed for the television and the sound system. So he called the electrician came, the plugs were installed, task complete. Except that since then, we have now discovered trip switch problem affecting our bathroom and my office, which seems to go out very randomly. And we also have 2 rooms, my office being one, that has no light fittings at all. And that is only the list so far, which means we have to call the electrician back. Now, my planning style is quite different. I tend to look at the bigger picture. I like to think about what else may need to be done, what the full project involves, what order things should happen in, and whether we can combine the tasks. The benefit of my style is that I often see things that Mark may not immediately see. Now, the downside to that is sometimes I take too long to begin. I can be looking at the grand map while Mark has already started diving in. Now, neither style is right or wrong. Mark's style creates action. My style creates perspective. Both styles also have their limitations. So this is important because we can be very attached not only to our plans, but also to the way that we believe planning should be done. You may be the person who wants to think everything through carefully. Your partner may prefer to take immediate action, as is in our case. You may love a detailed calendar. Your partner may find a calendar restrictive. You may need plenty of preparation before leaving the house. Someone else in your family may decide at the last minute that now is the perfect time to start looking for their shoes. Excuse me. Different planning styles can create a lot of tension, but they also can complement one another. The goal is not to prove that your way is better. The goal is to notice that each style contributes and where each style may need support. Together, you can create a plan that has both movement and wisdom. So planning doesn't have to become another site in your home. It can just be a plain conversation. So one of the biggest challenges with planning is black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is, for example, either I follow the whole plan or my day is ruined. And sometimes this is me, by the way. Either I complete everything or I failed. Either I do something perfectly or there's no point to it at all. Either we arrive on time or the entire outing is a disaster. Either I exercise for a full hour or I may as well just skip it. Either I work on the business for the full afternoon or 20 minutes it's just not going to make a difference. This way of thinking can turn maybe even a small disruption into like a total collapse, and then nothing gets done. You had a plan maybe to work for 2 hours while your kiddo was at school, but what happens when the school calls to say you need to come and collect them early? Now that original 2-hour plan is just no longer available. So from black and white thinking, you may decide, well, that's it, I can't do anything now. And you may spend the rest of the day feeling frustrated, defeated, maybe resentful. But there may still be 20 minutes available somewhere. There may be one email that you can send. There may be a phone call that you can make or a task that you need to move to tomorrow. Maybe something can be delegated. Maybe there's a different route to take to the same result. Flexible planning asks a much more useful question. Given what is true now with this set of circumstances that I have now, what is the next best step? Now, not the perfect step, not the one that you originally planned, of course, but what is the next best step? And that question gives you your power back. You are no longer arguing with reality. You are working with what is, what's happening right now. And it doesn't mean that you need to be all happy and joyful about the disruption, that you need to be like all in with it. It doesn't mean that you need to pretend that you're disappointed. It doesn't mean that you simply accept that your needs are always going to come last. Flexibility is not the same as giving up. It is not abandoning your goals. It's just adjusting the method while remaining committed to what matters. So think about a GPS. You choose your destination, you put in the GPS, and then you begin following the route. Now, perhaps there's traffic, or there's roadworks, or there's an accident, or maybe you take the wrong turn. The GPS doesn't freak out. It just recalculates, it reroutes. And that is the skill that we are developing. We are learning to recalculate without abandoning the result or the destination. And of course, the one thing nobody talks about is when our plans change, our emotions happen. So there may be frustration or anger or disappointment or stress, maybe guilt, resentment, maybe even a bit of relief. Perhaps the disrupted plan was something that you didn't really want to do, and now you have mixed emotions about it. And then, of course, there's always love as well. You may feel really deep love for your child while also feeling intensely frustrated that your plans have changed. Both can be true. You can adore your kiddo and you can still be disappointed. You can understand why they're struggling and still feel angry because it's had a huge impact on your day. And you can respond compassionately without pretending that it is easy. This is one of the most important emotional skills that we can practice as parents. We don't have to choose between all the good feelings, the loving, compassionate feelings, and acknowledging our own experience. We can hold both. The problem begins when we judge ourselves for our emotions. We feel frustrated, but then we tell ourselves that a good parent wouldn't feel frustrated. We feel angry, and then we feel guilty about being angry. We feel disappointed, and then we shame ourselves because our kiddo can't help that it's happening. Now we have the original emotion, and we have a second layer of self-judgment on top of that. So instead, you can say to yourself, of course I'm disappointed. I was looking forward to this. Of course I feel frustrated. I carefully planned my day. And of course I'm tired. It requires a lot of energy from me. I can feel this emotion without making myself feel wrong. I can feel this and still decide how I want to respond. You may just need a moment before you pivot. You may need to go in another room and smack a pillow around and allow frustration to move through your body. This is very different from reacting immediately. So when you give yourself the space to feel, you are less likely to snap at someone or just to dump everything or turn one disruption into the story of the day and how you never get to have anything for yourself. And I know that story can feel very convincing sometimes. I never get time for myself. Nothing ever goes according to plan. There's always something. Why do I even bother planning? But these thoughts will usually create more helplessness. A more supportive thought may be, it's not what I planned, but I can work with what's here. I am learning how to adjust without dropping my plans. A disrupted plan does not mean that my goals no longer matter. I can be disappointed and still make a new decision. This is where planning becomes emotional leadership. And I'll show you exactly how to get into that leadership, the planning leadership energy, with my Creating Time program that I created, which is specifically for parents of autistic children, because I realize that we have to accommodate things in our lives that many other families don't have to. Generic time management advice doesn't always take into account for our specific reality. It may tell you to wake up earlier while ignoring the fact that your kiddo may have been awake the whole night. It may tell you to use every free hour that you have productively without acknowledging that as parents, the emotional and physical recovery we need after having a difficult morning. It may encourage being very rigid with your routine, while your life actually requires more flexibility. Now, inside the program, Creating Time, I teach you a step-by-step process for planning the things that you genuinely want, alongside the things that you need to do every day. We look how to make space for your responsibilities, your goals, your health, your relationships, your rest, and your identity outside of parenting. And importantly, I teach you how to pivot when a plan is disrupted. Because the answer is not to stop planning. The answer is to become better at adapting. So if you would like, this is a side note, but if you would like more information about the Creating Time program, send me the word time and I will share some more details with you if you're interested in that. Okay, so let's talk about what flexible planning can look like in practice. First, plan for the results, not only the activity. For example, perhaps you plan to spend an hour going to the shops to buy a birthday present. Now, the result you want is not merely to visit the shops. The result is to have a birthday present. Now, if your kiddo is having a difficult day and you can't go to the shops, could you perhaps order something online? Could you perhaps get somebody else to collect it? Could you buy a digital gift? Could you choose something that you already have and just add a thoughtful note? When you focus only on the original activity, you may feel trapped. But when you focus on the results, more options appear. Secondly, create different versions of your plan. You can have a full capacity plan, a reduced capacity plan, and a minimum plan. So your full capacity plan may include a workout, a work project, maybe some errands, meal preparation, whatever you think a full capacity plan looks like. Your reduced capacity plan may include a shorter walk or one important work task and maybe a simple dinner. Your minimum plan may be to take your medication, send one needed email, and rest for the rest of the day. So these things you can decide ahead of time. All three are valid. The minimum plan isn't evidence that you are failing. It's the plan that protects you when you have a demanding day. Thirdly, decide what can move. Very few tasks are actually urgent. Some things, yes, must happen today. Some things can happen tomorrow. Some things can be delegated, and some things can just be removed entirely. You don't have to do them. Many parents carry tasks for weeks simply because you've never consciously decided that those tasks don't need to be done. Every item on your list doesn't deserve permanent residency in your head. And fourth, leave space. Don't plan every minute of the day. When your life includes frequent disruptions, you need a bit of margin, some wiggle room in your life. White space in your calendar isn't wasted time. It's breathing room. It's rest time. It allows you to respond without having to knock over 10 of your other commitments. And then please plan to rest. Rest isn't what you do when all the work is finished, because the work is never going to be finished. Rest is part of the plan. And number 5, evaluate without attacking yourself. Evaluate your plan. At the end of the day or the week, I do mine weekly. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't work? What took longer than you expected? What unexpected events occurred? What could you have done differently? What support would help? Don't ask yourself, what did I do wrong? The question leads us nowhere useful. You're not on trial, you're just gathering information. Planning is a skill, pivoting is also a skill. You become better at both through practicing. And the skill will support you far beyond your calendar. It's going to help you in your relationships. You may plan a quiet evening with your partner, but maybe your kiddo needs a bit of extra support. So instead of that connection, deciding that connection is impossible maybe, perhaps you just create 10 meaningful minutes together later. It's going to help you with your health. You may plan a full workout, but your energy may be low. So instead of doing nothing, perhaps you can stretch or just take a short walk around the block. It's going to help you in your career or your business because you may plan to launch something on a particular date, but life changes. You can adjust the timeline without abandoning the goal. It will help you with holidays and finances and home projects and routines. It will help you with your expectations for your child. You may have imagined that progress would happen in a particular order or within a particular time frame, but development does not always follow our plan. So you can hold vision without gripping the timeline so tightly. And this doesn't mean that you are passive. It is grounded, flexible leadership. It says, I am willing to make a plan. I am also willing to respond to what life throws at me. I can adjust. I don't have to give up. I can feel my emotions without letting them make every decision. I can create a beautiful life even when the day looks different from what I expected. This is an extraordinary skill. And as parents of autistic children, we have many opportunities to practice it. Perhaps more opportunities than we ever asked for. But with practice, we can become exceptionally good at pivoting. Okay, so before we finish, I want to invite you to think about one area of your life where you may be holding your plan a little too tightly. Where are you telling yourself that it must happen in a particular way? Where have you abandoned a goal because the original plan was disrupted? Where could you recalculate? And what emotions may you need to allow as you do that? Your life does not need to be perfectly predictable for you to create something wonderful. You don't need uninterrupted days or endless energy. You don't need everyone around you to follow your preferred planning style. You need a destination, a result, a willingness to plan, and an ability to adjust. And if you're realizing that you need more personal support with this, with planning your time, managing your emotions, setting boundaries, or creating a life that includes you again, I would love to work with you. My one-on-one coaching is personalized to you, your family, your challenges, and the life that you want to create. We look at where you are now, what's keeping you stuck, and practical emotional changes that we can make to help you move forward. So the first step is to book a consult with me. It is a very relaxed time, and we figure out if this one-on-one coaching is for you. You don't have to keep trying to hold the entire plan together by yourself. Support can help you see options that are difficult to see when you're tired, overwhelmed, or standing in the middle of another disrupted day. So remember, for information about the Creating Time program, simply send me the word time and I'll send you more information. And if you want to work with me, the link to the consult will be down below in the show notes. Thank you so much for spending the time with me today. Go and create your plan, give it direction, give it space, and when life moves the furniture around, take a breath, feel what you feel, and recalculate. The plan may change, the destination can remain. Until next time, please take care of yourself. You matter too. Bye for now.